Okay. Oh, I don't know if Bella knows the name of the show. I don't think it'll matter. All right. I thought I was clever, though.
I liked it.
Um, so I mean, this is only episode 2, so I can always change it. All right. Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to Circling Seattle Sports. This is the second ever episode. I just said it off camera and I forgot the number there. Of Right as Rain. Obviously, that is spelled Reign. I thought it was creative. Our weekly Seattle Reign FC show, podcast, whatever you'd like to call it. Obviously, Becca, you know Becca from last week. Becca's work with us with the Reign, her work with the Seattle Tempest and Cascades, and Seattle's Ultimate teams. And if you know her from Lookout Landing, our friends at Lookout Landing, I just recorded with Jake from Lookout Landing, so I'm seeing all of my friends today. And Bella Munson, who you will know, who does so much great work with us on the players and puppies series that we've got going. That's like it feels mean to like avert a percentage because there's so much great work that goes into it with you and Rowan, but it's like I feel like that's your child there. That's your, so Bella's great there. Obviously, Bella, well, not obviously, but Bella has written some Storm stuff with us. She's with the next, I believe it is the next. And I know Bella from sitting next to her in the rain press box from her work with Equalizer. And Bella has to generally um, keep me in check with things I either don't know or hear my complaints. So God bless Bella in that regard. Great to have her on too, someone who's extremely knowledgeable about this league. And just adds another element. Just having you two on this is great. I know some things, I don't know a lot, but we'll get going. Um, it wasn't a busy week per se for the rain. I know that they teased a couple signings. All of us were kind of confused when they post the future is bright and it was the jersey going into this stall on a hanger. And the last time they did that, they were teasing the Lynn Williams and Cassie Miller trade. Um, and we kind of all wondered what that would be, right? With the bright part capitalized, we thought that maybe it was a Messiah Bright, but obviously that would have required a trade. Um, and so it just, I don't know, it was confusing. And what it ended up being is the Reign ended up signing two players out of college, making it their first signings since the NWSL has gone away from the NWSL draft. The first one being Rutgers defender Emily Mason, who became the Reign's first collegiate signing since the league transitioned away from the draft. Um, and UNC forward 2024 NCAA champion Maddie Darlene. Um, both of those players being named to the 2025 U.S. Women's National Team Futures Camp, the day that those signings were announced. Um, this is interesting to me. The forward makes sense. I remember texting Bella. I was after the Mason deal. I was like, "Why are we adding another defender here?" Um, but I mean, Mason, who Becca wrote about, is a decorated collegiate defender at Rutgers. A lot of good things there. Obviously, she's been invited to the Futures Camp, so that's, I mean, good marks in that regard. And Darlene as well, like again, another young forward, as Seattle wants to get better in their attack after struggle scoring the last few years. That one made sense, but the Mason one had me scratching my head a little bit. Well, I'll start with you and then I'll go to Becca here. I got to make sure I don't mess those up. Um, what did you make? Again, the Darlene signing made sense to me. So if you have anything else, any thoughts on her, feel free. But I'm mostly interested what you thought about them signing Mason and getting another young defender after they, what was it, a month ago or so, brought in Madison Curry via free agency. So what did you? I mean, largely about those two signings, but mainly about Mason there.
Yeah, I was definitely surprised. Defense is by far where the Reign have the most depth, even before Ryan Brown will return from her season-ending ACL injury, and Sophia Huerta should return from loan around June. Obviously, Lou Barnes is expected to resign. So really, there's quite a lot of depth there. But she, like you said, she does have an impressive resume from college. I can see Laura and the team being interested in a player who is talented enough to be called into the futures camp. And has a lot of versatility. I think one of the strong suits of the back line last year, even if it was somewhat inconsistent is that you had quite a few players who could play center back or outside back. I think sort of Shea Holmes, Lauren Barnes made that switch a lot. Obviously, they talked about Madison Curry being able to do that as well. Um, but I think also the length of the contract is sort of indicative of that thinking. It's only a 1 year
Mhm.
contract. They don't necessarily know if she'll stick in the NWSL yet. It's almost like inviting her to training camp, except not really, because maybe someone else would sign her if they didn't offer her a full contract. Um, so I think there's a little bit of testing it out there, seeing if she can stick, if the college resume will stick and really show her to be a long-term NWSL caliber contender. I think for Darlene, that was what I expected more of this offseason. I really liked the signing. I watched quite a bit of the U20 World Cup, mostly to see how Emery Adames and Jordan Bug did. But I was really impressed with the impact that Darlene had, both as a starter and off the bench. She made a big difference for the team. She was like a tenacious troublemaker for opposition defenses, which was probably most evident when she forced the game-winning goal in the bronze medal match, just running at players, getting into tackles. She has speed, finishing ability, and also the ability to set up her teammates. I'd love to see her sending crosses into Jordan Huitema or be sent running in behind by an Aurelia Mondesir. Those are kind of the things that go into my head when I think of those signings. The Reign needed to get faster and more dynamic in the attack, and Darlene does just that. It also doesn't hurt that she's played with Jordan Bug and Emery Adames before. There's probably some familiarity there, because it will take some time for her to adjust to the pro system, even though she has good college experience and that U20 World Cup experience. But I really like both signings. I was definitely more surprised by the defender. But I think in terms of forwards that you can sign out of college, Darlene is one of the best you can get, especially after the other ones that already went off the board. So I think those were really, really solid signings.
And Becca, I know you wrote about both of them. What else do you have from there, or is it kind of seeing eye to eye there with Bella on both the Rutgers and the UNC product?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely agree. I think I would agree also that the contracts are kind of telling, like the 1 year versus the 3 year deal. I think definitely kind of shows what they're looking for in the future. But I think, yeah, I think both players have really a lot to bring, especially kind of like they need more speed in the attack, and that's something that Darlene can really bring. Especially like you said, kind of those more outside runs and crossing back into the box, and then yeah, obviously like need to prevent goals. Pretty basic stuff, but like yeah, I think both these players obviously are really proven. Like they have a lot of international experience. They do have chemistry with a lot of the players that we have on the roster already. So yeah, definitely was surprised originally by the defender, but kind of thinking about it a little more, I think it definitely does make sense for both of them to be there.
Hey, Charles.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, where are you going to watch all the away games for Seattle Reign FC this year?
Away games. Well, since Rough and Tumble is the home of Circling Seattle Sports, I was thinking of coming here if that's okay with you.
I think that makes a lot of sense. See y'all here.